Right guys, welcome to the channel. I hope you're having a great day. So, topic of the day. What should be your first bike, your first motorcycle after passing your test, whether it be the A2 or your direct access? So lately I've been seeing a little bit more on Facebook, obviously people doing their direct access or they're going in for their A2 and they're asking questions to people. Do you think such and such a bike is going to be a good first bike for me? This one's a 600, this one's a 1200, this one's 1000. It doesn't, to be honest, in my opinion, it really doesn't matter what your first bike is going to be. Whether you go out and pick up a 400cc, whether you go out and pick up a litre bike, or whether you go and pick up a booster that's got God knows how many horsepower that'll wheelie even if you're just going to blink at it. So I mean, I honestly think it really doesn't matter what you go and buy and how powerful the bike is or how much it's going to cost you. I mean, I say this because no matter what bike you get, any bike that you get after you pass your test is going to be a lot more powerful than your 125 that you've been riding. And again, if you go and get something more powerful than your restrictor bike you've had on your A2 license, it's going to be a lot more powerful and a lot faster than anything you're used to riding. I just think some people are under some sort of misconception that whatever bike you go and get, it's going to relate to how you ride. That bike's going to be the one that kills you or not, or because you get this bike and you're a new rider, it means, yeah, you are going to die. No, not at all. I mean, many of you may have a different opinion on this than me, but not necessarily, it doesn't mean that what bike you're going to get is going to kill you or it's not going to be suited to you because it's your first bike. I mean, I'll give you an example. I did my Mod 1 and Mod 2 test on this bike. This is a 1300cc bike. I'm not entirely sure of the horsepower, it's not been measured yet, but it's a bloody quick bike for what it is. Not the fact that it's a quick bike or the fact that it's powerful, it's an overly heavy bike compared to anything that you would normally do your test on. And if you're looking at sports bikes, this weighs a hell of a lot more than pretty much any sports bike you're ever going to get. Yeah, I'm fine, I'm still alive, and yes, I was used to riding bigger bikes before, although I was on a scooter, and for many reasons I had to redo my test. But yeah, even though I was used to bigger bikes, I still did it on this, and I still went for a 1300. I could have gone for the 1100 version of this, I could have gone for a few other models, but I didn't, I went for this one. And the reason I say I don't think what bike you get really matters is because no matter what bike you get, it's a learning curve anyway. So whatever bike you get, as long as you respect the bike and take the time to learn the throttle on the bike, learn how much power it's got to give at the little blips and everything else, and just generally pulling off, and how quickly your brakes can actually stop you. I believe if you do take your time with whatever bike you decide to get, take your time to learn your bike. Don't try and ride faster or do things that you're not overly comfortable with yet. I mean, if you go and get a litre bike and you decide, you know what, I'm on a 50 road now, I'm going to full throttle it, no one's about, drop a gear and slam the throttle down, your front end is more than likely going to come up in whatever gear that you decide to put it in. And if you're inexperienced and you're not expecting that, you may panic, you may brake wrong, you may slam the front brake on when the front wheel comes down, you may put it too harsh on the rear, you may lock it up, you may come off. Or for example, a corner like this, you may think, yeah, I'm on a sports bike or whatever bike I'm on, I can bang that right over and take it like I'm a racer. And you know what, if you've never done that before and you don't know how your bike handles, you don't know what the bike is telling you as you're going around that corner, and for any reason that you need to make corrections in the corner and you've not got enough experience to do that, or you're not comfortable enough to do that, or you haven't got the confidence yet to do that, you're going to come off. So to be honest, I really don't think it matters what bike that you buy first. I mean, there's been plenty of times on corners on this that when I first got it, there was just, I've took it a little bit too wide or I haven't done it quite right, but I've still been in my comfort zone to be able to control the bike in that situation. So, I mean, that is why I believe that it doesn't matter what first bike you get. I'd say personally, if I was you, I'd go to a dealership and find out which bike that you feel comfortable on. If it happens to be a litre bike, you know what, if you feel comfortable on that bike and you feel right on that bike, your legs feel right on it, your riding position feels right on it, get that bike. If for any reason that you sit on a 600 and you feel more comfortable on that 600 and more right on that 600 than you do on the litre bike, get that bike. Get whatever bike you want to get. It doesn't really matter. I mean, a lot of your learning curve should have come pre-bike, like pre-passing your big test. You should have been learning a lot anyway as a learner. But obviously you will learn a lot more when you get a bike. But no matter how experienced someone is, every time they get a new bike, it is a learning curve. And as long as you respect that and treat it as a learning curve, learn what the bike can do, what it can't do, and learn your limitations as a rider. I mean, there's plenty of times that I've been out with other riders where they've been absolutely thrashing it, and you know what, I've just let go of the throttle a little bit because I wasn't as comfortable as them doing those speeds. Or they're taking corners in a particular way that I either can't take because of this bike, or I'm not comfortable taking on this bike, or the fact that I do not know the roads. Yeah, as I was saying, it's I mean, I say there've been times where I do not know the roads and I'm not comfortable enough to take certain corners at certain speeds. And I think as long as you, whatever bike you decide to get, you take the time to learn your bike and don't try and push yourself too much past your comfortable, your comfort zone, then no matter what bike you get is going to be fine. Whether you go and pick up a little 250, a 400, a 600, a litre bike, or whether you go and max it out and buy the biggest engine you can possibly get, it doesn't really matter. I mean, that's just my opinion anyway. So another thing I'd say is, no matter what bike you get, just point out to your mates if they're going to be going too quick or they're doing things that you're not quite comfortable with. Just let them know if you've just started riding out in groups that you're not quite comfortable with that yet, that you're going to be going a little bit slower than what they are. Because if you're brand new out and you've got too much confidence straight away, although you do not know the bike and you do not know what it is capable of, and you're trying to do things that others are trying to do that are more experienced than you are, then more than likely you are going to come off at some point. You're going to take a corner too quickly, or you're going to take it too wide, or you're going to do something that you're not quite as comfortable with. Therefore, it's going to eventually cause an accident, either for yourself or for someone else. So I'd say the biggest thing is, no matter what you decide to go and get, is learn your bike. Take the time to respect it and learn what it can and can't do. And try not to push your comfort zone too much at the beginning. I mean, that can come at a later date. You'll start to feel more confident of what the bike can and can't do and what you're comfortable doing and not doing. I mean, there's litre bike riders, and even with bigger engines, that really aren't interested in getting their knee down around corners. They're not interested in doing track days, they just really like the bikes. But then you've got other riders, someone that might be on a little Farley Iron, for example, that absolutely bank it right down and the scraping pegs, and you know what, if that's what they're comfortable with, that's what they're comfortable with. It doesn't really matter. I think as long as you don't try and push your comfort zone too much to the point where you really don't know what's what and you don't know what could potentially happen, then you're going to be fine. So I mean, in short, honestly, whatever bike you get, it doesn't really matter, as long as the bike suits the situation that you want it for, or it's a bike that you really want, and as long as you're comfortable on the bike. Because I mean, obviously you don't want to be riding for 10 minutes and you got backache or bum ache or something like that, because then you're not going to be concentrating as much. So yeah, I think I'll leave this one a little bit shorter. I mean, there's not really much more I can say on it. But when you do ask in social media what people's opinions are on a first great bike, you'll ask one question, you've got an idea of 2 or 3 bikes that you quite like, but then you'll have 20 or 30 comments that they'll all agree that the bikes that you like are great bikes. But at the same time, you'll also have 20, 30 comments that will suggest completely different bikes, and that's probably because most of the people that are suggesting them have either ridden them bikes, owned them bikes, and they're vouching for them. But it doesn't necessarily mean that that particular bike is going to be a great starter bike for you. It doesn't mean that you're going to be as comfortable as they are. Like this bike that I'm riding, it's the Yamaha XVS 1300. It's also known as the V-Star 1300. You may not like this bike, so therefore this bike may not be the right one for you. It just may be too cumbersome for you, it may be too heavy for you, but then again it might be the perfect bike as your first bike. As I said, it really doesn't matter as long as you buy the bike that suits you, the bike that you're wanting to get, the bike that you're going to be comfortable on and that you can afford to run and maintain. Then it's a win-win situation as long as you just take that bit of time to get to know it. Just because you pass your test doesn't automatically mean that you can take corners or like even just take this bend here at 100 miles an hour and still be safe. As long as you take the time to learn whatever machine you get, it really will not matter. So anyway, that's just my little insight to what I believe the best bike is for you for once you've passed your test, your first bike. Others may disagree and others may say that you should get a smaller engine or a bigger engine. But I mean, that's my views on it. No one's really right or wrong with it. It's just obviously everyone's got their own opinion. So I think I'll leave it there. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe. If you want to see any more of the videos, click on channel and clip videos and they're all there. Right, take care all, have a good day and ride safe.